Welcome to Ohio FFA Career Connection. Throughout this series, we will explore just a few of the vast career opportunities in Ohio agriculture. Whether you want to work on a farm or in an office, laboratory, field, or classroom, FFA prepares us to be successful. Together, we'll get to know various professionals and learn how we can jumpstart our future careers while still in FFA. Let's get started. I'm glad to be visiting with Greg Singh, a business unit leader at Trillium Farms. Thanks for joining me, Greg.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
Let's start off by talking a little bit about your background. So how did you come to work in agriculture and specifically Trillium Farms?
So I was actually approached by a recruiter. I grew up in Florida and I had no background in farming before. Trillium, who I now work for, was looking to kind of change how they were doing things a little bit. So we were very farm-based, but we were trying to turn it more business-minded, change a lot of the ways we were thinking, get more compliance-based. Trillium had just taken over for a different company, so they had been bought out, and we're trying to change a lot of the negative conceptions. And so they brought myself as well as my wife in to try to change the way we're doing things here a little bit. So I've been here for about 7 years now. I've done quite a few different roles, from sanitation to processing to production. So I've learned quite a bit in my time here.
Very cool. And how has that career evolved over time? Exiting college and university studies, has it always been with Trillium, or what has your educational journey looked like?
So I graduated in a political science degree with a minor in criminal justice. So like I said earlier, not much background at all. So I worked in a correctional facility right out of college. From there, I did social work in a psych ward for about a year. And that's when I was approached by Trillium. And I just saw the amount of opportunity and potential there was to really develop and grow my career. And I've been here since.
That's really cool. And a lot of our members who are watching right now can relate to that. Because they might come from non-traditional agricultural backgrounds, and really any ag degree and those in our organization are truly developing their professional skills, their leadership and communication skills, which are helpful in any career. Now, what was that mindset switch? So you were working in a correctional facility and then you switched to business management and agribusiness management. Was that your intended goal? Kind of give us an insight on your thought process over this past decade.
No, it wasn't my intended goal at all. It really just, I thought it was great potential. One of the biggest things we do is we provide an affordable protein product for, 25% of the country. So we're really trying to do our part to make sure people are getting fed, people can get that protein in. So that's the initial opportunity I saw. Concurrent to that, though, there's so much that it's a constantly changing process. In corrections, it's you kind of go in, you do the same thing every day. Here, we're constantly developing, we're coming up with new ideas. There's so many changes between compliance, environmental compliance, food safety, workplace development. When I started here, I was quality assurance. So my job at that point was just make sure we're putting out a good quality product, make sure the customer is getting what they need, to then running a machine, to then sanitizing, to then now I'm over the full production and processing of one whole facility. So just the growth potential and just how much there is you can do and how many people you can impact on a day-to-day basis was a huge reason as to why I joined.
That's really cool. And especially within the agricultural industry, we see growth. You see growth in your own operation. And
Right.
even in Ohio, we are number 2, I believe, in egg and poultry production, which is very exciting. What have you enjoyed about that? Because I come from non-traditional as well. So it's cool to be able to be a lifelong learner in this journey. What excites you about the poultry industry and maybe working at Trillium?
So the first thing that really excites me is we just have a great team here. I currently am over about 50 employees on a day-to-day basis. Just seeing them develop and grow. I've had employees that started as a packer, just for example, out of high school, that have now developed into supervisors. I've had say we've had some employees come out of college as production man or assistant production managers at that time to now they're senior production managers over a facility or two. So just the development of employees, that's one thing I really enjoy. I really like teaching people. I really enjoy spreading the knowledge. On top of that, I also really enjoy the number side of things that we've really helped incorporate over the last few years. I know I've said it a few times now, but the change to a business-minded agriculture, or agribusiness, I guess is the better term for it, has really been exciting, and just how we've evolved in that throughout the years. When I first started here, there was not much. It was just come in and kind of, let's try to get the job done today. And then the next year, it's let's improve on this. Say checks, for example, the amount of broken eggs we're getting from the barns. Then the next year it's okay, employee engagement. So we've just constantly grown and developed, and it's been great to see.
Yeah, and I think when I see the agricultural industry, it's like what you said, it's business oriented, it's numbers, it's analytics, it's computer science, and it's changing the way we grow food, but also we produce food from a poultry side. As you look forward to your career, what are you excited to see in the poultry industry, or specifically Trillium? Besides that business model mindset, what do you think this industry has potential in?
So I do think there's a great potential to bring in fresh ideas. It's always great to see new ideas here. We do have a lot of changes coming. I know there's been a great push to change to cage free. So just how we're going to go about all of those projects over the next few years. I think most of the country is pushing to be fully cage free by 2025. So how that's going to work, there's going to be a lot of project management, a lot of just changes coming along throughout the industry that are very exciting. I mean, they also make me nervous. Some people are uncomfortable with change, and just how it's going to be a fresh start, essentially changing barns out. We're going to be rebuilding new things and try and build them better than they are now. So that's super exciting over the next few years to see how all that plays out.
Greg, could you tell me a little bit about your current responsibilities in this role as business unit leader?
So I've been a business unit leader for about 3 years now. I'll kind of give you a little bit of background. So when I first started here, I worked in quality assurance. My day-to-day was, going through making sure we're meeting customer specifications as far as code dating, making sure we're putting out a good product. So for example, most customers only allow 5 broken eggs, essentially called checks, in the pack, making sure our plants are meeting that specification before that product gets out the door. Because if that gets out the door and gets to a customer and they complain, it just very building bad rapport with our customers, and you obviously don't want that. From there, I switched over to a sanitation supervisor. So my responsibilities at that point were, after production was done for the day, I had a team of about 10 or so. We cleaned the entire facility. Every morning we're inspected by the USDA to make sure we're good to go. Everything's clean. We're operational, ready to run. From there, I switched to a processing supervisor, where I ran the machine for the day. So made sure all the customer orders were completed, made sure they were completed the specification. And then I had about a team of 20 under me that I just we all worked together to make sure the job got done at the end of the day. Switched to plant manager. From there, I added the responsibilities of shipping and receiving as well. So incoming cartons, things you kind of don't think about, cartons, boxes, packaging, all that coming in the door. And then on the back end of it, making sure everything is shipped out correctly. So most trucks get 28 pallets of eggs on them, making sure they're getting the right product. We're not misshipping anything. So then from there, I've turned into now a business unit leader. So I still have all those processing responsibilities as well as shipping and receiving, but now I've added the production side. So we've got 14 barns here. In them, we're over, animal welfare. We're over collecting eggs. We're over making sure the birds are getting feed, water, ventilation. There's so much to it. I couldn't even imagine when I first started. And so I've added all those responsibilities now, and I've got a great team under me. They help me a lot. I've just started the business unit leader position for about 3 months now. So our production managers, who are over the barns on a day-to-day basis, they do a really great job of keeping things going well back there.
Now, Greg, what were some of those additional trainings and education that you needed when you started your position in Trillium, especially with working with poultry science and business management?
So I've gone through quite a few trainings. One thing is National Equality School. I actually got to fly out to Salt Lake City, Utah, which is great. And we spent about 3 days just learning everything there is to know about eggs, from animal health to best management practices of flocks to grading eggs and putting out good quality product. I've also gone a HACCP training, which is hazard analysis and critical control points. So making sure, water temperatures are correct, make all the things that go into making sure that you're putting out a safe product for the customers, and which transitions into SQF, which is safe quality food. That's kind of a class you take after HACCP to be able to verify documents, make sure all documentation is correct. We're doing what you say, saying what you do kind of situation. We're audited very regularly to make sure we're following all of our requirements and staying in code with everything. So all those classes have helped develop me with that.
What do you enjoy most about your job? So when you wake up in the morning, you get to work in a big plant facility with animal agriculture. What makes you excited to wake up in the morning?
The most exciting thing to me is to continuously improve. I'm constantly trying to find better ways to do things. And I'm also always excited to learn. There's so much to learn in this. Again, not coming from an animal background, learning the production side. So, I've spent the past few months just learning how the feed works, how if you feed the birds this, you get this product. If you feed them something else, you'll get another product out, for example. How water affects them. So, if the water has too much iron in it, it has a detriment. If there's too much phosphorus, there's a detriment. So learning all that, ventilation, and all the systems that go into that. We have all kinds of temperature probes through the house. We set timers to make sure the birds are staying cool. If it gets too hot, it's a bad effect. If it gets too cold, there's a bad effect. So there's so many different areas to learn there. And then, like I said before, just working with people, developing them day to day. You're working with 40, 50 people a day. Having moved here from Florida, they're almost my family now. So it's getting to know them, getting to learn what their goals are, what they want of life, how we can develop them, how we can help grow them within the company as well.
Now, to get an inside perspective, what does today or this week look like in your position?
When you first go in, it's a lot of data. So we're looking at the numbers from the day before, seeing if there's any issues, seeing if there's anything we need to improve upon. And then it's getting with my team and saying, kind of setting goals for the day. So was anything broken that we need to work on? Where can we improve on things? Yesterday we had too many medium eggs. We're not really making money on medium. So what do we need to change in the feed? What do we need to check on with the birds to improve there? And then from there, it's, spending a lot of time out on the floor. We're out there just looking for issues. There's a lot of facility audits I can constantly work on. There's documentation audits. There's barn audits. So there's lots of things to keep us in compliance and lots of things to keep us busy.
What is one misconception about your position at Trillium or about the poultry industry in general?
I will say this is just coming from myself. So having not done anything like this before, not having any background at all, hearing I'm going into poultry, I don't really know what I imagined. But coming in, I thought it was just going to be, you come out to the farm, you do your day to day, you go home. But just how much there is of the mindset of continuous improvement and working on the business side of things has really blown my mind. Yeah, of course, there's farming. There's days you have to go out there. Last week, I was out scooping manure for a few hours. The week before that, I was repairing belts for a few hours. There is obviously that aspect as well. And there's many people that help out on the farm to help with those things. But I really had the conception that it was just come out, hand collect eggs every day, put them in a carton and then ship them out. And it's not like that at all. It's a lot more streamlined than I imagined.
That's really cool to hear that you're looking at the data analysis side of business, but you're also able to get your hands dirty some days. and
Oh,
help
absolutely.
when work is needed. What are some of those skills that you've developed that you think have helped you excel in this career? Maybe you've developed from a young age or that you've learned over your career.
I'd say one of the greatest things is just working well with people and communicating. With working with so many people and then being a supervisor or manager, a lot of the employees on the floor, they're the one out there doing the work every day. They're the ones that see what's going wrong, what's going right, what they have learned in their past that could help improve upon things. And just taking those opinions and then working with them to get things running better has always been great. From the compliance side as well, there's so much changing that they have lots of tips that can make our job much easier. That working with them, it's helped. Just the improvements I've seen over the past 7 years here have been incredible. So
RFFA members will take a lot of different jobs in the job market when they graduate and go right into the industry or get a career. And as a manager, what qualities of an employee do you value the most, or do you think are the most useful when applying for a job or in a position?
this doesn't really come out in interviews, I don't think, but I do think a willingness to get out there and get dirty is a big part of it. In the end, it is still farming to a certain degree. You can't be afraid to get soaked in water or get manure all over you. Like I said, so I've done sanitation I did that for about a year, and eggs are not a clean product. As soon as they break, it's just everywhere. So getting your hands dirty, getting in there with them, teaching them how to clean the machine, that's a big part of it. On a production side, I guess you'd say, just having a knowledge of, I know both of my production managers right now took classes in animal health, animal welfare through college. They got a very general understanding of things, but then being able to apply that once you get back into the barns. Kind of that stuff we talked about earlier: feed, water, lighting, air. All those have huge impacts on the birds. So I definitely say being able to incorporate that into the workplace and the day-to-day is huge.
Now, what are some specific careers within Trillium, maybe on the floor side with those with kind of extensive poultry background, that they would be able to take advantage of? Those who have raised poultry and worked with animals before, is there animal welfare specialist in your facility? What does that look like for those with an agricultural background looking for a job?
So there's quite a few. So we do have an animal welfare specialist actually, and an animal welfare manager. That's a huge part of what we do day to day. We have assistant production managers. We have production managers. Here at Trillium, we also, so we'll raise our chicks from when they're chicks to when they're of laying age. So we have pullet managers, we have breeder managers, many positions. We have caretakers throughout each one of our houses. We have flock specialists. So there's a lot of different opportunities within the company that anyone with an animal health or animal welfare background could take up.
What can students be doing now to prepare for a career similar to yours?
So I'd say one thing after high school is we have so many internship opportunities, and that's just great for networking and getting to know people in general. Right now we've got pivot operators, we've got students just working in the barns, just learning day to day. They're not responsible for anything. Their job is to just come out, learn different things, see if this is the career for them. I've met so many different students, and a lot of them now work here after they did their internships here. So doing that, getting your foot in the door, meeting people, seeing what different parts of the business you like. We've offered internships where you do a week at the feed mill, then you do a week in our barns, then you do a week with the compliance team, week with the logistics team, week with processing, then seeing what area you like. And as jobs open up, apply for those jobs, get your foot in the door, and then you've got yourself a career after not too long.
I like that. I think internships are one of those experiences that no matter what your major is or what your educational path is, it can still teach you something new about the industry. Why did you decide to continue working in the ag industry, and why should someone with a non-traditional background consider a career in this?
So there's so much opportunity. I really stayed because I saw the growth potential. When thinking about farming, you kind of just think, working with the birds on a day-to-day basis, but there's a whole accounting team. We've got logistics. We've got a full safety department. We've got a truck yard. It's almost just like any other almost a distribution center, except we are in charge of the welfare of the birds on a day-to-day basis. So there's so much opportunity. We're constantly evolving. We have human resources. We've got a whole purchasing team that is over procurement. So it's constantly growing. There's so many different jobs you can do here. If you don't think you fit in, just like you said, the animal portion of it, there is procurement, there's a central warehouse, there's shipping, there's receiving. There's so much you can do here and so much growth potential.
That is some great advice for our members. Our membership is looking at careers in bioscience, agri-science. So knowing that there's options in this industry is great to know. Thanks for chatting with me today, Greg, and thank you for sharing your experiences with Ohio FFA members. FFA develops our potential and helps us discover our talent through hands-on experiences, which gives us tools to achieve real-world success. If you're interested in pursuing a similar career path to the one highlighted in this video, there's a couple ways in which you can get started. One option to dive in and learn more is through a supervised agricultural experience. While completing an SAE, you will cultivate valuable employability skills while gaining work experience as a volunteer, paid employee, or maybe even as your own boss. To learn more, talk to your ag teacher or visit saeforall.org. In addition, through career development events, you can put your knowledge to the test. Ohio FFA offers more than 40 CDEs. Here are a few CDEs that can help you further explore this career path. Ask your FFA advisor for more information about how to get involved. As FFA members, it's important for us to start making these connections and finding future possibilities that align with our interests. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Ohio FFA Career Connection, which is made possible by Ohio Corn and Wheat. Thanks for tuning in.